All right, we've got a personal reading alert. Mockingbird12 is the code. If you'd like your own personal reading, the email is in my YouTube bio. All right, let's get to it. Spirit, please channel through me to give me the reading for Mockingbird12. Please and thank you. All right, let's see. Judgment. Oh, Page of Cups, the Lover's reverse. So, all right, here's the deck layout. Page of Cups way up here. You were looking for love in all the wrong places. 10s are going to be significant for you. You had false emotional offers, as in people that strung you along. 527 on the timer. These are individuals in your past that swore they'd be there emotionally, physically, financially, in the heart space, and they weren't. Each relationship shows you how to do things on your own. Lack of support, time and time again. Either they weren't moving in the direction that you were looking for, you guys weren't seeing eye to eye, or they weren't helping you out, and you were pouring your love into situations where really your love wasn't reciprocated and returned. And it was always held over your head. Something was always held over your head, and mostly it was emotions. You didn't receive the emotions that you were giving out. Yeah, it was always like a battle of whether you should leave a relationship or not in the past. And it was always hidden things and truths revealed. Changes, swearing up and down that nothing was going on. That it was just work. It was just this, it was just that. Tons and tons of times throughout your life, these relationships proved where they were hiding something. They were hiding their emotions. They were hoarding their emotions. They were doing things that weren't aligned with the relationship. And you kept finding this out. The moon and the sun on Judgment and the Lovers. You had to start over financially multiple times throughout your existence. No matter how many times they came to you with an offer, you always had to make the decision and take action on your own, and you always ended up leaving because it wasn't serving you. There was a 2 of Cups hidden under the table. There was a situation, a lover, close friend, wasn't always known to people, or maybe you kept it hidden for a while, but this had forward movement. And this was after a lot of bad relationships. They came to you with an offer, a communication, and it was kind of sideways. They came out as the Emperor at the time, but it caused massive towers. This decision to go towards this connection, to have this emotional connection with this person, this Emperor, caused major towers in your life. Caused a little bit of chaos, confusion, but emotionally, this was your Ace of Cups, this Emperor. This was very emotionally fulfilling for you, or you thought that it would be a situation where, yeah, you sat in High Priestess energy. Highly emotionally attuned when you got to know this person. You guys started having conversations and you hit it off. In your eyes at the time, this is someone who could really let you sit in this High Priestess energy, really let you build something worthwhile. Sit in your soft girl era. But very quickly, they may have started holding back emotions after the relationship started, mainly because this relationship caused havoc in your community at some point with your friends or your family. They didn't support it at first. It caused you to overthink a lot, and in the meantime, you kind of had to carry a lot on your shoulders. Mentally, you were carrying a lot of emotional weight here. This situation even had you crying at some point, and though you were trying to have a big transformation in your life, you were stuck between a rock and a hard place at one point with this situation. Because this transformation, for a while, it had you sitting in a reversed Hierophant energy. People may have not understood, may not have liked it, may have thought it was for the wrong reasons. It may have racked your stability, home, security, finances at one point as well. Made you completely restart over. But things did turn. It turned it turned for the better. We've got another 10 here. 10s are going to be very significant for you. So you started picking up momentum, and you didn't leave the relationship, you stayed in it, and it made you very happy. You got to sit in 9 of Pentacles energy, very secure in this relationship. Started enjoying yourself a little bit more as well. This was a celebration for you. It was a win. And it also had you sitting here wondering about past relationships where they kind of didn't always meet your emotional needs, didn't fill that emotional space in the heart that you were longing for, which is why you ended the previous relationships, or they, never worked out. Again, it took a while to gain support because of this situation. You wondered many times if you should have went this direction, started over, because of what it did to your stability, what it did to your finances, what it did for your journey itself, maybe even spiritually at one point. This could have been something you don't talk about a lot. There was a lot of things that were chaining and binding you in this relationship from the past. A lot of things in the ego, regret, remorse, guilt that you had to get over. And some of your past lovers, too, may have been really stuck in their devil energy as well, really chained. They were not emotionally regulated, which is why you left. And you had to get over doing what was best for you and having the judgment of others in the process. 5:33 on the timer. Because people didn't live the situation you lived. They just didn't. And they can't really speak on things that they didn't understand, because this devil energy in your past relationships, it was hurting you. It was really hurting you. You may not have had bruises on the outside, but emotionally you were exhausted. Your heart had been battered. You felt like you were 1 foot in, 1 foot out, and to be honest, you felt stuck in your past relationships. Again, these people were attached to their devil energy. And you may have even fantasized about what would happen if you left the situation every time you were in these bad relationships, of how balanced and how different your life could be had you chose to walk away. The tower that you created by leaving the situation that caused everyone else havoc was your justice. So it was good. It was more in alignment for you. It took you a while to feel good about it, though. Sometimes you still, from time to time, may have regret and remorse about kind of uprooting others' lives in the process. Could be children, could be family, community, friends. But again, you were listening to your intuition, listening to your heart space, maybe even following spirit, because you're kind of a different breed. You're very outgoing. You have a lot of strength, even in situations where most people don't. And you transmute a lot. You're always positive. You're always bubbly. So you knew you were making the right decision, and that one day it would be for the greatest good, and people will understand, and they'll understand the journey that you've been on. And if they don't, oh well. It's none of their business anyways. You were looking for a strong leader, someone who could support you, defend you, be there for you, by your side, make you feel supported, loved, fight for you. Someone who could go within, evaluate, think, and talk about their own emotions. Someone who was willing to do some healing, and wanted to move forward and get in alignment on their own journey. Someone who worked hard. Someone who was always trying to move forward. Someone who didn't lack balance, who knew they wanted you and would say it. Someone who would express their emotions. Someone who would offer you a 10 of cups and fill all of those empty cups that you were missing. Again, you were missing the emotional support very much. Maybe even the love in the past relationships. This new journey, again, sometimes it's not emotionally regulated, Sometimes you feel like you have to be defensive and you can't always give in the way you want to, or maybe you can't always be yourself or give your energy the way you want to, because it's not always equally reciprocated. King of Pentacles reverse, and this person works hard for what they have, or they did work very hard. They may be retired now. A leader. Someone who, it's like their effort is shown, and they, over time, I'm about to sneeze. their effort over time could be seen. They had really raised themselves from the ground